I have a feeling if people actually watch this video, they're gonna be very mad with the conclusion that I come up to. All right, so another domino has fallen in the latest of the NBA cycle and spear. Max Strus has been traded, and it's like a 5-team deal. Peyton Watt. I'm gonna just tell you the major parts of this deal because I don't think anyone cares about the absolute minor stuff about it. I'm gonna tell you the conclusion that I came to, and I'm gonna tell you the conclusion that I came to not only with the trade, but like just in general because I've felt this way for a while, but I've never had like a real reason to say it in a video. Peyton Watson has moved on to the Cavaliers, right? He's been moved to the Cavs. And another player, I think Najee Marshall. Who cares, right? We're here to talk about the best players in the deal. Peyton Watson is being moved to this team. He's getting a 4-year extension for $99 million. I was being pretty hard on Peyton Watson before I like really looked at his numbers last year because I'm gonna be honest. Yes, this is the best season. That last year was probably the best roster that Jokic had around him in quite some time since winning the 2023 finals. But I just didn't think that the team could last for much longer because I knew how expensive the team was going to be to keep around because of the second chance apron. And yes, the team was formed before them, but before that, but you're seeing like the real like punishment that the NBA is giving out to teams like that. All right. We're gonna see something very soon, very similar. If Chet does not develop soon, we're gonna see him in trade rumors and stuff like that because it doesn't make sense to retain an asset and pay him as much as you used to pay guys like that. I think Jalen Williams has earned his contract, especially considering I've seen production from him in the highest of stages. But Chet just hasn't done that. The Cavs are good on that. They signed James Harden, and there's a lot of deals that'll hurt this team in the future. And I was pretty sure that this team is not going to win anything. So in my experience, and in my I'm saying my experience, like I have any experience in the NBA working and dealing with the business aspect of it. I was thinking that the Cavs should probably just tank. This is not an organization that is like expected to win something all the time. Like we're not LA, we're not Boston, we're not those like legacy dynasty kind of teams. Or we're not like one of those teams where it hasn't had any success at all recently. So I wouldn't mind sitting through another rebuild and just tearing it all down. But it's fine. It's fine that they're doing this because this team is going to be good in the regular season. I'm not really sure how they'll be in the postseason, but it's interesting. Obviously, they lost out on the LeBron sweepstakes. I think LeBron is something that the team needed for offensive purposes in the playoffs. But defensively, adding Peyton Watson is great. Right. Strus did not play most of the majority of the year last year, so it'll be an upgrade in the sense of just having him, and also he can slash to the basket. The basket is already pretty crowded in my opinion, but he also is a tweener player that can shoot. He's kind of 3-and-D based on how he played last year. Great explosion. Again, though, that was with Jokic. I would like to tax that, but there's that. Let's go back and talk about what this means for the Denver Nuggets really quickly. The Nuggets are done. They're done. And very shortly you'll be seeing and hearing rumors about trading Jamal Murray, trading Aaron Gordon. They've been trying to do, which is something I'm pretty sure they've been trying to do behind the scenes, and we're just not hearing it because it has never gone through. His team is done. Aaron Gordon's injury concerns are far too much. They're paying Jamal Murray far too much in this new CBA. In the past and previous years, it would have made a lot of sense to pay him like this, but because of the new CBA and the second tax apron, it does not make sense to pay for him like this. And the Cavs were also a team that was very close to the second tax apron, and you saw what they did. They tore a lot of it down. That included moving off of Dennis Schroeder. That included moving off of Max Strus. That included moving off of former Six-Man of the Year candidate. He's now playing for the Sacramento Kings, DeAndre Hunter. I really like that team. They won 64 games, and this team does not resemble them at all. Do you know why? The second tax apron. Darius Garland they had to move off of recently. That's why I thought with all of the moves that they had just made to move off of those guys that you just tear it all down and just go like, oh, well, let's restart. Apparently not. Jokic has the least amount of talent he's had on his roster in years, which is crazy because literally the year before last, we were looking over like the roster sucks. And this roster might actually be worse because before Cam Johnson, they had Michael Porter Jr., who was actually at least willing to take shots, and he was also making shots. I know his offense is, a little bit selfish, but to be quite honest, Michael Porter Jr. is like, what, 85% of what Klay Thompson was offensively in his prime. So, like, hey, Cam Johnson is not that. Cam Johnson is a 3-and-D player. He's not enough of a shot creator for this team. They needed that desperately, and you can see that in the postseason, which is crazy because this was the #1 offense last year. They're not going to be nearly as good. They're wasting years of Jokic's prime. Jokic is going to be in a very similar situation to Giannis because once they won that championship, it's been 3 years already. Shit is falling apart. There's been injury concerns with him. It's looking like the 2021 Bucks. And I think everyone has made this comparison in their mind, but like just never had the like gall and audacity to say it. But like Murray, in a way, is very similar to Chris Middleton, where he had been on the roster for a while, and he's been an all-star-ish player a couple of seasons. I think it's really kind of hard to say that he's not better than Chris Middleton was at that time, but Chris Middleton also a much more consistent playoff performer. I know you're saying to yourself, better playoff performer than Jamal. Yes, please look up the numbers. He is a more consistent playoff performer than him, all right? Moving on. And the Drew and the Aaron... And then Drew and then the Aaron, I was going to say Aaron Holiday. No, Aaron Gordon. Aaron Holiday is another Drew Holiday, of one of Drew Holiday's brother that plays in the NBA. But regardless, he's also one of the guys they brought in who's a very defensive-minded, oriented player, and to be quite honest, but can finish with a little bit of offensive power. Particularly giving like a little bit of shooting and stuff like that. Like I think it's very similar, and the comparison is not crazy to make. But yeah, this team is falling apart. I think Jokic could be demanding a trade soon. Realistically, I don't know if he will, but I can't imagine the guy who was complaining like 2 years ago about them having like really close battles with the Wizards back then is going to be happy about this team when where they are standing right now. Probably not. That Christian Braun deal is strangling and killing them. And if he does demand a trade, I would like to do this because this is the main focus of the video. And I know you're saying that you're 7 minutes in, you're talking about the main focus of the video. Loyalty has to be the most overrated shit of all time. It has to be. I'm so done with the idea of loyalty. It is so fucking stupid. Mainly because the guys that y'all are talking about with this loyalty paradigm and that y'all are doing, they don't believe in this shit like you do. They don't. They really don't. 90s players, they were in fucking terrible contract situations where they could not get out of them, and many of them did want to get out of them. They did want to make their moves and pick where they were going in their destinations and these teams that they wanted to build and be a part of. They wanted that. The contract length that they were signing did not allow them to do shit like that. That's something they actively fought for. They had to fight for free agency to come about in the first place. So when older players complain about players today moving around and shit, I don't believe them. It makes no fucking sense. And the players that y'all are telling me about doesn't make any fucking sense to talk about their loyalty. It doesn't. It doesn't. I saw a nigga one time tell me about Shaq's loyalty. Shaq has completed the Rainbow Challenge. For those who don't know what the fuck the Rainbow Challenge is and think that it's some crazy thing that just came about all of a sudden. No, this is when you have a color for every single jersey under the rainbow. Shaq's completed that. They're talking about fucking loyalty. Are we dead ass? And by the way, loyalty is a two-way street. Why the fuck would you be loyal to an organization that can move you and trade you and use you any way, way, form to make money? That's fucking stupid. That's dumb. And two, the guys that y'all are normally like, oh man, look at their loyalty and shit. They've either wanted to play for other organizations or have played for other organizations. Y'all talk about Jordan. Jordan came out of retirement another time to play for fucking Wizards. And you know why he did that? Because he got a stake on the team. That's why he did that shit. Do you know why? Do you know why Kobe spent so many years in LA? Because they denied his trade request, which he wanted to go to Chicago, ironically enough. The only guys that you can really be like, oh, their loyalty is really interesting and shit like that is Dirk. And Dirk was branded a fucking loser until he won one of, if not the greatest championship ring of all time. They were calling him a fucking loser. They don't call you a part of an organization that has critical issues and has team building problems. They call you a loser. It's you. It's not them. It's you. They're calling you a loser. Why? I'm stuck doing this shit. And I mean it in the same way that you like. And not on some deflecting shit like I'm Clark from the back rooms. Is someone looking off their fat fucking ass? No. You're sitting in a situation where the GM is constantly playing in your fucking face and not giving you the adequate amount of talent. And we're only talking about loyalty in terms of superstar because I don't think anyone gives a fuck about it in terms of Udonis Haslem for like 20 years for one organization. I don't think anyone gives a fuck about that. They're playing with your money. They're playing with your family. They can move you around at literally any time. Why the fuck would you be loyal to those organizations, especially if they don't show it to you? It's not the once you get to a certain point of your career and you're really not doing anything and this team really can't compete for anything, they're not willing to give you these contracts and shit, nigga. You gotta get the fuck on. You gotta get the fuck on. It doesn't make sense, man. Loyalty's dumb. And here's another thing. When I'm ranking a player and it comes down to their talent, and it comes down to the talent, I think is very similar. And niggas are like, oh, but they stuck with one franchise their entire time. And I'm gonna actually be specific on what I'm talking about. I'm not gonna vague post with you. Dame versus Kyrie. Oh my God, this is the dumbest argument of all time. One, it's like, oh, one has been the first option all of this time. Please, for the love of God. Dame put himself in that situation. Let me repeat this. Dame put himself in that situation. Kyrie cannot. First of all, Kyrie, when LeBron came back, LeBron came back. LeBron came back to play with Kyrie, for starters. And two, would Dame have been the fucking number one option if he was playing with LeBron James? Would Dame have been the number one option if he was playing with Kyrie? Would Dame have been the number one option on that Boston team? Because Kyrie also was the number one option on that Boston team. Would Dame have been the number one option to Luka Doncic in those years? If the answer is no to every single one of those fucking questions, then why do we care about the guy who being a number one option when he didn't win anything? He never won shit. Oh, but Dame is peaked higher than him. Okay. How much higher than him? Quantify it. Yes, Dame has been great. Dame has this reputation of being like one of the greatest playoff performers of all time, which is fucking not true. I don't know why he has this shit. It's not true. It isn't. And also another time, people are going to be like, oh, but Dame really didn't have the opportunity to win anything. He played in the same era as Golden State. You mean the same era where James Harden and them took them to 7 games? The same era where he went against them in the Western Conference Finals. They did not have Kevin Durant in that series. They did not have Boogie Cousins. They had the worst bench that they ever had. And it was just Steph and Dre realistically, and then occasionally Clay, because Clay was not playing great in that series either. That's the series you want to give Dame the benefit of the doubt for? In the series he played bad? I don't get it. I don't understand the fascination with him. The loyalty is the reason why he was in those shitty situations to begin with. He never asked to be in a better situation, so he was stuck wasting years of his prime in this shitty situation. And it's not just, oh, well, from the year he was drafted all the way to 2019. No, he continued to make that dumbass decision all the way till 2023? 2023. He was almost a decade into his career, but we decided, I could be the greatest Portland Trailblazer of all time, or I could try and win something. Huh. And I know you're saying to yourself, but Dame went back. His family never came with him to Milwaukee and shit. Why do we think that he should have started moving in Milwaukee? He should have been axed out. Everyone knew that. That was common conception. I'm saying this, and I want you to say this as well, and come to the same conclusion as me. Would Dame have had the same numbers that he had as the second option to literally any of the guys that I just mentioned? And another thing, Kyrie's ring matters more than anything else in NBA history. I'm just going to be completely honest. Motherfuckers are saying he wasn't the first option on that team. How does his ring matter more than X, Y, and Z? Well, for starters, it was the second option to LeBron James, which, hey man, being the second option to LeBron James, not a knock on your career. That's crazy. 2, they came down from being down 3-1. 3, it was the greatest team of all time they were up against before they added a Kevin Durant. And more important, the greatest regular season of all time. And that team had just come back from being down 3-1. So you'd think they wouldn't choke this lead. Motherfucker, that's the situation we're talking about. And niggas are acting as if Kyrie didn't fucking ball out in that series. Niggas are acting like, oh, he got the one shot. Kyrie was having 40 and outplaying Steph in the postseason. Dame never did that. He never did that shit. It never fucking happened. In fact, every time Dame has been compared to that nigga Stephen Curry, guess who fucking fries him, bro? Guess who fries him? It's Steph. Steph fries him. And look, Steph is the greatest point guard of all time. In my era, Steph is the greatest point guard of all time I've ever watched. But so like, it's not a knock that he never outplayed him. It's just like Kyrie has in one of the most important series ever. What do you want me to do with that information? And the Warriors are, and also another thing, the Warriors were a much tougher defense than the Cavaliers were. The Cavs were not this world's greatest defense. They were a great offensive team with Kevin Love, Tristan Thompson, Kyrie Irving, J.R. Smith, LeBron James, especially for that era. They were a really great offensive team. The Warriors were the team that was the better defense. Iggy, Dre, Clay, they're still running Bogut at this point in time. Yeah. They were a much better defensive team. Nigga was giving 40. And you can't say, well, he didn't have Draymond guarding him. Draymond was playing fucking help that series. It wasn't like Draymond was glued to LeBron's hip. Iggy was glued to LeBron's hip. And Draymond was playing help. I just, like, it's not just like, oh, well, if Dame was in that situation, he would have did that. He didn't fucking do it. Why do we do this with NBA players? We're like, oh, if X, Y, and Z, they didn't. And it's not like as if X, Y, and Z didn't have the ability to be in a position where he could play with another great player, and he just didn't choose to. Nigga you're telling me he never had leverage in any of the years where his contract was about to expire, and he never said, hey man, I don't really want to re-up with y'all and just keep fucking losing. Nigga, he made loyalty his entire thing. And then didn't thug it out the rest of his career. Nigga was like, damn. We're heading to... And it's not like the team was heading immediately to a rebuild when he said that shit. Like, they entered the rebuild because the nigga left. They was content to run that shit back. It was like, all right, cool. He ain't leave because a new ownership can't change. He came back, and they got new ownership right now, and he don't seem too unhappy about it. He ready to get back to hooping. I don't want to see that. I don't want to hear that shit, bro. Who else loyalty overrated as fuck? Tim Duncan's loyalty overrated as fuck. No one ever talks about Tim Duncan because quite frankly, he's one of the most disrespected players of all time. Tim Duncan was ready to leave. And if we're giving Dame bail because his family was there, the reason Tim Duncan didn't leave was also because Doc Rivers told him his family can't fly on the plane. His family can't come with him. This is a business trip. Do you see how loyalty makes no fucking sense? The loyalty to the organizations don't make no goddamn sense. You're telling me I'm the big fish on this team. I can't bring my family. I'm not a fifth or third string guy like where it's like I got the audacity to ask some shit like that. I'm the guy. I can't bring my family on the team playing with this. Oh shit! I'm gonna stay in San Antonio then. They let me do that shit. The relationship I got with Popovich is amazing. Why the fuck would I come over here? This is cool. It was a cool situation to play with Tracy McGrady and all that shit. I'm good. Stay with them, won 4 more championships after that? Or at least 3. And y'all pick and choose when y'all think loyalty is cool too. Y'all only choose loyalty when niggas win championships. I'm consistent on it because I think what you should do, if you're one of the guys and you have that ability to be one of the guys, you should always put yourself in the situation that's going to help you win the most. I think it's stupid because players in previous eras would have wanted to do that as well. They just couldn't. Or the all-time greats that you're talking about, and the reason they won in those situations, nigga, Magic Johnson had no reason to leave LA. First of all, it was LA in the 80s. I'm not going anywhere else. All of the women and stuff, that's why he caught what he caught. I'm not going anywhere else. The movies and the actions, the Hollywood and the business ventures that this nigga had, I'm not going anywhere else. And we're winning and we got a great roster around me. Why the fuck would I leave? Jordan the same way. Jordan got the weakest Eastern Conference possible, and they're giving him constant talent around the roster that is more than enough to win a championship. It's Scottie Pippen and all that. And you can say whatever in the later 2/3 of the three-peat. Yeah, it wasn't really the same thing that it was when he was younger. The East was still shit. The East was still shit. Why the fuck wouldn't I say? I'm good. And go where? Because there wasn't a lot of situations where Jordan could have just went to somewhere. He came back to play with. Scottie Pippen was still there. He was like, fuck it. Works for me, bro. Y'all, I'm about to say, in this loyalty argument for Jordan make no sense. Not only because he played for a different team, motherfucker retired on his team in the middle of his prime. I mean, it's his choice, but like, y'all acting like he was forced to leave the game. He wasn't. Nigga came back too, like, the 2 years that he didn't play, or well, most of the 2 years he didn't play, like, no one hold that shit over Jordan. Hey, Kareem started his career off in the Milwaukee Bucks. I ain't never seen nobody talk about loyalty for Kareem and what he did in the Milwaukee era. No one gives a fuck about that shit. Y'all selective with y'all choices of loyalty and shit. I never seen Shaq the most dominant center of all time, except for when I'm talking to literal fucking idiots. No one gives a fuck about Shaq's loyalty. That shit is stupid. Y'all talk about Steph's loyalty. Bro, Steph, I'm gonna be honest with you. Steph has won 4 championships, and he's been blessed to be in the Golden State Warriors, and he's also afforded this team multiple opportunities to get him talent around him. And ever since they won the championship in 2022, this team has fucked him repeatedly. No lube, no rubber, no ability to get him help or talent. Consistently. Trying to choose 2 timelines at the same time, and you're going to notice that as well. That's another thing they were trying to do with Jokic, and look, they gave the wrong young players contracts. You see how that fucks you up? You see how drafting Wiseman I'll say this. Wiseman was a raw prospect that they thought they could just effortlessly fit into this team. They had been looking for a center for a long time. We thought that could be that. In hindsight, y'all passed up on Halliburton for this nigga. Halliburton, who had a great workout with him, and I'm saying this because Halliburton just told us this recently. Great workout with them and would have fit the team amazingly. Yeah, why the fuck y'all pass up on him? Y'all didn't have the option to draft Ant. Ant went first. Y'all still could have had, Ant went first, and then LaMelo went second? The 2020 draft is not ass. Y'all had ability to get some fucking players. And yeah, the situation with Jordan Poole didn't work out, but I'm sitting over here like, was Jordan Poole really the situation for this team long term? Y'all never gave Moses Moody minutes. Y'all give Kuminga the worst. So your coach really wanted veterans and shit, and your team really could have used some veterans at this moment, but y'all chose to play 2 timelines at the same time, and it fucked y'all. And yeah, it made y'all still profitable because you got Stephen Curry. Y'all still a $1 billion organization because you started Stephen Curry. But my question is, why is Steph committed to this shit? There's been other situations to win. It's been other places he could have gone and axed out. I don't know why the fuck he didn't. That loyalty shit is overrated. I'm sorry, if I'm Steph, I'm taking every opportunity to win. Because Steph, trust me, Steph wants to win, bro. Steph act like he's shackled to this team, though. You're not. You're not, dog. Oh, and the years and shit after KD, and won the championship in 22. All right, cool. I'm gonna give you a break on 2023. All right, cool. But I'm gonna keep it real with you. You went through 2021, and this team was all the way fucked up. The reason y'all won in 2022, and the team that y'all won with, that was insane that y'all were able to get what y'all were able to get out of that team, to be quite honest. And you balled the fuck out. You was the main catalyst for that shit. No one can say anything about that. Okay, 2023, we lost in the second round to the Lakers. All right, it's not bad. It's not that bad. They went to the Western Conference Finals and got dubbed by the Nuggets. They got swept by them niggas. It's tough. All right, cool. Next year, 2024. Does anyone remember what this team was doing in 2024? No? Okay, cool. Next year, 2025. Why the fuck are we still here? This team is fucked. Has fucked up everything. Has made no acquisitions. It's 2026. They made no acquisitions. Why have I never heard of Stephen Curry demanding a trade? I will be holding this against Stephen Curry for not trying to do it. If you trying and failing is different to me. I'm gonna be completely honest. Here's another thing for why I think loyalty is stupid. If you try and fail, I don't hold Dame's years against him in fucking Milwaukee. He tried to do something and it didn't work. I will say it was a little bit too late in his career to be quiet, to be honest, and he got unlucky with the Achilles and all that, and Giannis' injury timeline and shit like that. Cool, great. I'm not mad at him. It was in pursuit of trying to win a championship. I'm mad at niggas who stick around in situations where it's fucked up and you're just like, well, I already kind of live here and I'm content, and I guess, bro. The reason niggas ain't as mad at Steph is because he won some shit. The reason niggas ain't mad at Steph is because he was a unanimous MVP. The reason he ain't mad at Steph is because he won his 73 wins with his team. Steph wanting to leave would be different. That being said, I'm still gonna hold him accountable and be like, hey, why the fuck didn't you lead a stupid situation? I'm like, what the fuck? I would have gone somewhere else in pursuit of winning it. And if you didn't, bro, guess what? You're a multi-millionaire. Not like 5 million, not like 4 million. You got hundreds of millions of dollars at your disposal right now. More money than niggas will ever see in their life. You think all of a sudden you just not gonna have that shit tomorrow when you leave the team? Why the fuck would you stay in this dumbass situation? I don't know. Loyalty's been overrated. Jokic, look out for this because Jokic is probably gonna be gone is gonna probably be moving in this situation. Kyrie versus any guard in those years that ain't named Stephen Curry, bro. It's Kyrie, bro. I don't give a fuck. One of the most efficient players ever, just ever. Period. Has been to the finals multiple times, and it's not just that, bro. Like, has been to the finals 5 times. Has won 1 championship. And it's not just a championship, one of the random ones where he was a second option on a team and really didn't contribute nearly as much as normal. No, he was out. He balled out of his fucking mind in a 3-1 comeback against a 73-9 Warriors team that had just come back from a 3-1 series himself. That shit matters more. It does. It just does, bro. I don't like to do ifs. Here's another thing. And this is the last thing about the if statements too. What the fuck is this NBA's community with fascination with Derrick Rose without injuries? Holy fuck, bro. I saw a poll like who would have the best NBA career without injuries, and that shit included Joel Embiid. That shit had AD, Tracy McGrady, Derrick Rose, and Joel Embiid. And they're talking about who would have the best career without injuries. Embiid has been injured damn near every single year in the playoffs, and the only year he wasn't injured is when they went 7 games against the fucking the Toronto Raptors. And you can look at the numbers alone and think that he had a very bad series. I just want you to keep this in mind. That team had the remnants of fucking Marc Gasol on that team, who was still very good at that point in time. Serge Ibaka, who was still very good at that time, and was coached by Nick Nurse and had Kawhi Leonard as well. That nigga took them 7 games and was the best player in that series without a shadow of the fucking doubt. Without a shadow of the doubt, he was the best player in that series. You know, so I don't really get it. I don't get it. Please look at the looks that they were giving that nigga. Please look at the fact that he had Ben Simmons on the court. Please look at the fact that Jimmy Butler was not shooting well either. Please look at the fact that JJ Redick was not shooting as well as he could have been shooting in that series either. Please look at the fact that he had fucking Tobias Harris on that fucking team. And that poll again. To the niggas who, and it wasn't just like half of the niggas, it was over half of the niggas. It was a super majority. It wasn't a plurality, it was a super majority of niggas who picked Derrick Rose over Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid, who scored 70 points in a game. Yeah, bro, that's whatever. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. This has been a tangent video as a motherfucker, but like it's the day before my birthday. I want to see some like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Yeah. It's probably gonna go up on my birthday too. Peace. Love y'all.